Sure.
This is so fun. It's like Old Home Week. Remembering all the people we've worked with over the years, and such a joyful. It's such a joyful reunion that we're having here in Rita's honor, and Rita has been an influence on all of us. This is a very special gathering. It's by invitation only, and we wanted to do it that way so that we would keep it small, so that nobody got diseases. And so we're really pleased to have you all here, and we thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to this service to celebrate Rita Semel in honor of her 100th birthday. A real milestone for anyone's life, but in Rita's case, this means she has been doing good work for almost 40 years beyond when most people retire. And at 100, she is actively continuing to do good work. Rita embodies the Hebrew phrase, Tikkun Olam, healing the world. We are gathered in this building to honor Rita, but also because of Rita. When Rita heard that the San Francisco Presidio was going to become a national park and that the main post buildings would be used by the public, she said, well, the main post chapel should be run by people of faith. And she gathered the San Francisco interfaith community together to steward the chapel and set up an organization to become a hub organization for interfaith councils throughout the Bay Area. She helped organize the Interfaith Center at the Presidio. We help communities with best practices in interfaith and understanding, and in times of community disaster, like the fires or floods. Our members include interfaith councils from Alameda to Concord to Marin, the peninsula, and of course the San Francisco Interfaith Council, which she also helped found, and which has its offices here in this building. The State Department designated this chapel as a visiting site for interfaith groups visiting the United States. And when they come, they're amazed that we actually sit down together, Muslims, Jews, Christians, Buddhists, and enjoy talking to each other and learning about each other. And what an important idea Rita had to preserve the sacred nature of this building, which has always been interfaith, since the military built it with the eternal flame of the Jewish faith and the cross behind the curtains, in case you want to pull them if you're having that sort of service, and symbols of other faith traditions can be found in the stained glass windows around the building. Military men and women prayed here before shipping out to war in the Pacific, for World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and others. Rita's idea preserved the chapel's artistic and historic significance for current and future generations. The chapel itself sits above the Presidio's main parade ground with views of San Francisco and the Bay. This is a tranquil site considered sacred by the Ohlone, whose leaders blessed the Interfaith Center and its work when ICP arrived to steward this building in 1996. The chapel is built in the Spanish colonial revival style, and it's considered to be one of the Presidio's finest examples of this architectural style. a gem to be restored and preserved. The building has two significant pieces which were created and installed in 1935. A fresco, which you saw as you entered, of the peacetime activities of the Army, illustrating the Presidio's rich history, created by a team of Depression-era artists led by Russian artist Viktor Arnotov, who has murals all over the city in civic buildings and especially at Coit Tower. And then you see the windows, the 12 windows around above you. They depict the virtues of military character. And they were created by Wilhelmina Ochtrop, who holds the distinction of being the first woman west of the Mississippi to be inducted into the Stained Glass Artists Union. And they're beautiful during the daylight when the sun shines through them. And they're all women, which I think is also interesting for a military building. So, welcome to this service to honor Rita. And welcome to this sacred building that Rita recognized and helped preserve as a sacred building.
Thank you so much, Camilla. No one has been more dedicated to this chapel than you, and you continue to do that, obviously. And of course, we're in the middle of a long-range campaign to renovate the chapel and also to provide a gallery for the McDonald piece windows. And you've been a wonderful leader in that, and without your guidance, we wouldn't be anywhere, so thank you so much. And thank you for actually organizing this wonderful tribute to Rita. And of course to your assistants, who our office manager, Mary, and Tara, who is on our board of directors. They've worked very hard to put this together, so I just want to thank you. Margaret Meade, as you probably know, was a legendary anthropologist in the last century and was also known for making very strong statements on various things. And I quote her here: "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." So Rita, you are a living testimony to these words. I think they are the words that completely sum up the contribution you have made to all of us here, and we are deeply grateful. We now begin with the opening hymn, "Have I Done Any Good?" And Sister Elizabeth Padilla of the Brahma Kumaris is here. Once again, she has sung many times in this chapel, and she will lead.
Thank you.
We will now have the invocation, and Rabbi Stephen Pierce, Rabbi Emeritus of Congregation Emmanuel. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Since this is Rita's 100th year, I figure I have permission to reveal 2 things about her that nobody knows, even Rita does not know. There is a rabbinic tradition that the world exists because of 36 righteous people. And because of them, and they are unknown to themselves, and because of them, the world continues to go around. So that's one piece. The second piece is you know the names of the pantheon of angels: Ariel, Azrael, Bezaleel, Carmiel, Daniel, and so forth, but I didn't think that you knew Rita's hidden name, Rituriel. Because Rituriel is one of the angels that is counted among the 36. So I've outed you, Rita, and please forgive me, but as we move to the next century, we ask the Most Holy One to watch over you, to bless you, and to continue to enable you to do mitzvot, divinely commanded acts of loving kindness. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Our keynote speaker needs no introduction. Bishop Swing has been a major interfaith leader in this area of the country. And we felt that it was appropriate for somebody of his gravitas to be here tonight to honor someone as significant as Rita. Bishop Swing, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I want to make sure that you can hear. Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay. When I arrived in San Francisco in 1979, this is what interfaith looked like. Occasionally, 10 religious leaders got together to speak out on a crucial civil matter. That was it. That was Interfaith in 1979 in San Francisco. Okay, 42 years later, here is what interfaith work looks like today. A vibrant San Francisco Interfaith Council with representatives of 800 congregations and religious institutions, serving the vital needs of this community on a daily basis, working closely with City Hall. And I can't help but ask, what happened between 1979 and 2021? I would be right to say that the unity which abides in the heart of the divine was expressed here. I would be right to say that thousands of people came together to forge the most dynamic interfaith city in the world. And I would be right to say Rita Semel. Let me tell you about the Rita Semel moment when interfaith in San Francisco and the world changed forever. One moment. It was June 26, 1995, on the brand new steps of Grace Cathedral. Princess Margaret was there, and so was the Secretary General of the United Nations, Kofi Annan. Also Lech Walesa of Poland and a host of other notables. Waters from sacred sources around the world were joined together in the brand new fountain at Grace Cathedral. Fresh off an Interfaith Youth Conference, youth from around the globe were there. Religious leaders like Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Rabbi David Saperstein, W. Dean Mohammed, the Supreme Court Justice in Pakistan, Javed Iqbal, Betty Williams, Nobel Peace Prize winners, and others had come together to prime the interfaith youth expectations for that day in that cathedral at that time. Believe me, our little interfaith group in San Francisco was punching way over our weight on that day. And when it was over, Rita Semel came up to me on the steps of Grace Cathedral and said, "We can't stop here. We can't stop here. We could have, number one, basked in this occasion of glory and retired and talked about it forever. Or we could have made our first step in a far, far greater journey using this as our trampoline to go. What we did was to meet in my living room a few days later, 6 unlikely people. One of us was a short order cook. To start the long march toward the interfaith improbable destiny of San Francisco and around the world. Rita's words, "We can't stop here," carried the day. Fast forward. Rita began working with a little group of interfaith folks housing homeless in the winter, and they ultimately became the San Francisco Interfaith Council. At the same time, Rita became the interim chair, meeting downstairs here, and then she became the chair of the Global Council of the United Religions Initiative, which incidentally became the world's largest international interfaith organization. Something special happened in this city at that time. Rita Semel was percolating in the midst of it all. It was like she picked up a shovel, like John Henry, and started digging into the base of the mountain of religious resistance until, at long last, an interfaith railroad found light at the end of the tunnel and the big train came rambling through. San Francisco became different because of Rita Semel. How different? When something big happened to one of the faith or interfaith leaders, we didn't just send around a little congratulations by email. We celebrated in San Francisco's finest restaurant, Kakari, thanks to its owner, George Marcus. How different when one of our own, Archbishop William Levada, was elevated to cardinal. 30 of us from different religions got in an airplane and went to Rome to cheer him on. Rita went to the women's room in Rome in a restaurant, and a lady from Boston said, quote, 30 of you from different religions attending a cardinal's elevation. My goodness, that would never happen in Boston. I'm sure she was right. I recently saw a list of Rita's wide-ranging additional works, which are in your bulletin, by the way. Oh my, such a jaw-dropping list. The testament of her labors lives in the fabric of scores of local institutions. And all of us can take credit for Rita, and we do. But also, I'm here to say, at the same time, Rita was presiding at the signing of the URI Charter in Pittsburgh, Rita was presiding at the URI's first Global Assembly in Rio de Janeiro. Rita was presiding at the Global Council in Seoul, Korea. She modeled for the world what an international interfaith executive should be like. When did the Rita magic start? That's what I kept asking myself last week. When did it start? And the year was 1945. World War II was over, and Rita and her husband Max settled into the congregation Temple Emmanuel. The new rabbi there was Alvin Fine, and he asked Rita to be on the Social Justice Committee. She said yes, and the rest is history. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was last week, I called up Rita and I caught her off guard and I said, why? What motivated you to do all of this? She was surprised by the question, taken aback. But her first response was, it never dawned on me not to do it. Her second response was, I always believed that all of us have more in common than our differences. Her third response, I've always adhered to Tikkun Olam, repair the world. So, here we are. Rita's 100th birthday. Whew. And I have three quick things to say to the congregation. I want to say to you that Rita's father was in vaudeville. I always say that. I make sure everybody knows that I'm involved with that. To Rita, I would say on behalf of Mary Swing and myself that we cherish you and we love you and we are honored to be on this journey with you. And to the congregation or anybody who will listen, I want to quote finally Rita and say, we can't stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Bishop. Iftikhar High is the president of the United Muslims of America Interfaith Alliance, and he called today because he is down with the flu. Not COVID, just the regular flu. So he asked that we speak his words for him, and this is what he has to say to Rita. Dear everyone, I feel very sad that I could not be here physically because right now I am sick with the flu. I want to share with all of you how Rita has changed thousands of people's minds about interfaith peace and harmony. She has been a pioneer in starting the SFIC, and also she has been instrumental in the formation of the ICP. I am deeply honored to have worked with her for close to 35 years. Values of humanity and fairness have always guided Rita, and this is why I hold her very dear in my memory. I also have attended several meetings of those two organizations, and we did several programs together. Rita, thank you very much for your wisdom, and it is an honor to say happy birthday to you from me, from my wife, and my family. We love you. We have two sisters from the Brahmakumaris, who are very well known to Rita over the years and have been here many times. Sister Chandru, if you would come up, and Sister Sakanya. You can come up together if you wish.
Thank you. It is such an honor to be standing here, especially to acknowledge Rita on this very, very rare, unique, extremely special occasion. Sister Chandru couldn't be here today, but she is very much here with us in spirit. She loves Rita. Whenever we say Rita, her eyes twinkle. Rita has been a very significant part of the history of this city, interfaith in the entire world, and of course in the story of Brahmakumaris. Rita, you are a very, very special soul with a special role. You play this extremely special role in each of your work. You have exemplified how to live a life of pure service, a life that brings harmony in everyone's social life, interfaith life, family life, professional life. You have shown us how to face life's dire situations, circumstances, challenges with fortitude and grace. May you be always blessed with eternal health, wealth, happiness, now and always. We love you so dearly, Rita. We do not have words to express. Thank you.
Sensei Elaine Donovan, who has been here many times at the chapel for different occasions from the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. We're honored to have you again to pray for us.
Good evening. Miss Rita. It is such an honor and inspiration. I just can't put into words what it means to sit alongside, actually to look up and be inspired by you on the San Francisco Interfaith Council. It is such a joy. You go a long ways back of my particular Buddhist tradition, Jodo Shinju. The Reverend Laverne Sasaki recently contacted me. He sat in on the early days of starting several years after the start of the Interfaith Council. He sends his love and birthday wishes to you as well. He couldn't be here tonight, but he extends those as well. This evening I was thinking about sharing something from my Buddhist tradition that I think captures the essence, the heart of Rita Semel. And if I may, I'd like to share that with you right now. It's called Eternal Now. In the beginningless beginning, endless flow of time, each life is a mere ripple, existing only for an instantaneous moment and disappearing forever. But each life is a unique experience with beauty and truth, all its own, with no identical counterpart in history, and none absolutely the same in the future. Your life, my life, is attuned to the rhythm of the cosmos and the heartbeat of reality. Each life exists in the eternal now. Each idea is the thought, each word that is spoken, each action that is taken changes the whole pattern of the universe. For the universe is interdependent. Think, speak, and act then, always in the eternal now, with compassion and understanding for your own enlightenment and for the enlightenment of all sentient beings. Happy birthday, St. Rita.
Senator Dianne Feinstein was not able to be here this evening, but she has sent Rita, a commendation from the United States Senate with these words. It is a great pleasure for me to honor and recognize Rita Semel, a friend and remarkable public servant and interfaith leader who now turns 100 years old. Rita is a lifelong advocate for interfaith understanding and social justice, whose outstanding accomplishments include the co-founding of the Interfaith Center at the Presidio and the United Religions Initiative, leading the Jewish Community Relations Council, and serving on the boards of numerous nonprofit and government organizations. Throughout her decades of service, Rita has worked tirelessly to unite people of different religions and advance civil rights and social equity. Her extraordinary contributions to her community have made a profound difference in the lives of others. Rita's tenacity, experience, and passion distinguish her as a public servant of the highest caliber, and she serves as a model for those who seek to follow in her footsteps. As a United States Senator from the state of California, I wish Rita Semel a joyful 100th birthday celebration and commend her on an exemplary career in public service. And that has been made into a commendation from the United States. Speaker Nancy Pelosi's Chief of Staff is with us to represent her, and Dan Bernal is here, so I'd invite him to come up and join us. Oh no, he isn't here. I'm sorry. I thought I saw him. Zara Hagi, who is the Bay Area Field Representative for Senator Alex Padilla, and I invite her to come forward now to express his sentiments. Thank you.
Hi everybody, it's such an honor to be here today in the presence of Ms. Rita. Congratulations. We have no shortage of commendations from the United States Senate for the wonderful work that you have done in our community. So I'm going to share a quick excerpt that the Senator has provided today. It is with great pleasure that I join your family, friends, and our community in the celebration of your 100th birthday. You are an inspiration, role model, and devoted interfaith leader. I would like to share my immense gratitude for the critical impact that you have had in our community. Your actions have not gone unnoticed. From your engagement on the Jewish Community Relations Council to your role as a co-founder of the Interfaith Center, your commitment to fairness and equity has benefited the lives of countless people. I am in admiration of your devotion to our community and your commitment to social justice. I hope you realize the magnitude of your achievements and have a joyful 100th birthday celebration. My sincerest congratulations, U.S. Senator Alex Padilla. Thank you.
present it to Rita? Yes. Thank you. Now, Rita's daughter, of course, is with us, as you know, Elizabeth, and from the University of California, Berkeley School of Law. And we'd like to invite her to share.
Thank you all for this wonderful tribute to my mother, for your devotion to her, for your faith and confidence in her, and for your love of her, which obviously is shared by my family. I want to say that my first cousin, Paul Resnick, is here. He's going to figure just briefly in my comments, because he too is an indispensable part of our family. My sister Jane and I knew from a very early age that our mother was different. She worked in the 1950s and the early 1960s when work did not include what women did at home. Balancing a woman's professional ambitions and family was not a topic of discussion during our childhood, when most white middle-class women did not have what would have been called a real job. Of course, for working class women, and especially for millions of black women, there was no option and no conversation about how to have it all. I only learned as an adult that several of my father's male friends criticized him for allowing our mother to work. But according to my mom, his response was simply to say that it was not up to him. My sister and I were oblivious to our father's role in our mother's career until really, I would say, we were in high school, when we began to understand what it can mean for a woman to have a partner who supports and admires her. The difference between my mother and the other white middle-class mothers was evident in several ways. We were among the handful of students whose mothers might not retrieve us from school in the event of a nuclear alert. Often, she was not waiting for us when we got home from school. If my mother was working, Bertha Robinson took care of us after nursery school and elementary school, along with her grandchildren. Our mom was often late, picking us up from school to drive us to Brownies or Bluebirds or ballet. For reasons I can no longer remember, her tardiness frustrated Janie more than it did me, and led Janie to announce that my mother's headstone would read, "She's not here, she's in a meeting." Notwithstanding Janie's observation, we missed out on nothing, and undoubtedly had more because our mother led the life she wanted to lead. My sister and I were never too young to stuff envelopes, whether for the San Francisco Conference on Religion and Race, SNCC, or the Israel Consulate. All of this, and too much to describe here, is how my sister and I learned a central aspect of what it meant to be Jewish. Family, our mother and father's, was at the center. We spent at least one weekend a month with our aunt, our mom's sister, and uncle, and our 3 cousins at their home in San Jose, which was then referred to as Downey Peninsula, not Silicon Valley. We had regular sleepovers at our grandmother's apartment, and for our cousins, my sister and me, she was the principal connection to Jewish cooking and Yiddish. I'm the only surviving child. I became the surviving child at age 20 after Jane, then 18, was killed. I have never asked my mother whether she believes that Jane's death reshaped her. I did not need to ask any more than I needed to ask my father. But I cannot overstate my mother's fortitude and her capacity to redirect her grief into a semblance of healing for her and for my father. My mother's relentless drive to advance civil rights and protect human dignity also reflects her need to see my sister's infinitely generous soul and my father's loving heart live on. Her sense that there is no time to waste became more acute with each loss. If I were to anticipate 3 pieces of advice that my mother would give, they would be as follows. Cherish your family and friends, and find in them your greatest joy. You are never too old to be an optimist and make a difference. Above all, believe in and act on the goodness of the Spirit that is within every human being and transcends every faith. Thank you.
We will now have a video with remarks from a few individuals who know and love Rita who were not able to be here today. They recorded her.
Working first as a copy boy and then as a reporter, I learned a great deal about city government, about how the city ran and what was going on. And doing that, I got to meet all kinds of different people over the years, working with people of other religions. In fact, I had this conversation with the current Episcopal Bishop, Mark Andrus, and we both ended up by saying that if you boil down every religion to its essence, it's all about repairing the world.
Happy 100th birthday, Rita. What a spectacular occasion. And I'm so pleased to have been asked to participate in this event by giving you this statement. As I thought about what I was going to say, I realized that I have known you for over 50 years. I think I first met you with the great Leo McCarthy, the former speaker and assemblyman for the San Francisco. And you were one of his most important confidants, along with Naomi Lauder and Bob Lauder and Dr. Feigenbaum and a whole crowd of people who were so important to him. And over the years, you've become just as important to me. I remember clearly how you coached me as a member of the Council on Soviet Jewry on how to meet and help Soviet Jews who were being denied the opportunity to move to Israel. That was a magnificent and important effort that ultimately was so successful. You also helped me with the beginning of this organization. When I asked for the religious institutions of our city to help house the homeless in a cold winter after the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake, you were one of the first to step up and help me put together what is now one of the most important institutions in this city in the Interfaith Council. So I look forward to seeing you on the actual date that we will be celebrating, and hope that it is as magnificent as everything else that you have done throughout your career. Happy birthday, Rita.
Dearest Rita, greetings from all of your friends at the United Religions Initiative on this very special occasion. As the first ever chair of the United Religions Initiative, you have been such a fantastic leader and an inspiration to all of us. It has been a huge honour working with you to promote cultures of peace, justice and healing. We all pray that you continue to experience an abundance of happiness and good health. Wishing you a special day that honours your 100th birthday and everything you've done to make this world a better place. Happy 100th birthday, Rita. Love and blessings to you always.
Happy 100th birthday to Rita. Oh, wow, I hear you are quite the pioneer and leader. I am so honored to be able to wish you a happy 100th birthday, and I'm sure you will have a great day and great festivities as you well deserve. Thank you for making such a difference in your community and your state for so long. I'm so proud of you. Happy birthday, Rita. Bye.
Hi, I'm Mayor London Breed. I want to wish Rita a happy 100th birthday. Rita, this is an incredible milestone, and I am so happy to hear you are celebrating with your family, friends, and the community who cares about you. We all know Rita has been such a special part of our city's history. Her work with the San Francisco Interfaith Council and passion for helping others has changed the lives of so many people. Whenever San Franciscans needed Rita, she has been there. Whether she was providing food and shelter for the homeless after the '89 earthquake or educating folks about accessing important resources during the pandemic, San Franciscans can count on Rita. Rita, I am so grateful for your commitment to our city. So here's to you and your 100 incredible years on this earth. Happy birthday, Rita. We love you.
Hey everybody, it's Governor Gavin Newsom here, and I'm glad to be adding my voice to so many others in celebrating the incredible Rita Semel on her 100th birthday. A determined advocate, you all know that, for building interfaith relationships. We have all, I think, long thought of Rita as one of the true pillars of the community-minded spirit that defines the best of San Francisco, from her activism to her philanthropy to her remarkable ability to bring people together across every conceivable divide. Rita is tireless and effective, but perhaps most effective in her efforts to bridge that divide between religions and foster a deeper and perhaps a more authentic sense of community. She's an inspiration, I know, to all of you, to all of us, and reminding us that we're all more alike than we are different. And that's a message we just need to repeat and communicate today more than ever. So happy birthday, Rita. Happy 100th birthday. And here's to many, many more years of good health and happiness ahead.
Rita, this is a book of memories for you that was put together by all those who love you. It's a walk down memory lane, and I think you're going to enjoy it.
Song very well, and all join me. But before we do, I just want to say one thing. Rita, you've been such an inspiration for me personally. I was the office manager back in the early days of the San Francisco Interfaith Council. Working with Rita was so amazing. She loved people. She never did anything because it looked good. Matter of fact, that didn't appeal to her at all. And whenever I would go with her, tag along with all these different events, I would watch her with the little ones. We would go to the Bayview or wherever, and you would just embrace the people there. And you made them a part of who you are, and you made us all belong. And that vision has been an influence on what I do. So thank you. And so please join me in wishing her happy birthday in song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Thank you very much. I'm really humbled by all of this. And if my mother was here, she'd say, don't take it serious. Don't forget to do what you need to do. So if there's anybody I need to thank for doing what I'm doing, it's my parents. I was brought up during the Depression, And my earliest memory is of my father-in-law doing for others who had less than we did. And believe me, we didn't have much. But I think that's something that I look around this room and I see so many people doing so many good things. So I think we all learn the lesson that we have to do for others what we want to do for ourselves. Thank you so very much.
The benediction was to be offered by Reverend Amos Brown, who he himself has called in, and he is indisposed as well, and he sends his regrets that he can't be here with you. So I will offer the benediction. Let us pray. Lord, make us instruments of your peace. Where there is hatred, may we bring your love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O Divine Master, grant that we may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love, for it is in giving that we shall receive. It is in pardoning that we shall be pardoned, and it is in dying to oneself that we will be reborn to everlasting life together. We ask this in your name. Amen. Now we'll have our final hymn. Sister will once again join us.
So, for you, Rita. May I always walk the path of love, radiate God's beauty below, inside, above. I will open up my heart each day anew for the love of family, love of life, and the love of you. This is the beginning, not the end, of blessings upon blessings, my friend. And you are committed to service. You taught us to change the world through your two hands, with your heart and soul. Yes, you understand. May you always shine your inner light with the colors of the rainbow rising up to brilliant white. And no matter where your choices lead you to, there will always be a place inside our hearts for you. This is the beginning, not the end, of blessings upon blessings, my friends. And now we are committed to service. We can change the world through our two hands, with our heart and soul. Yes, we understand. When I think of mountains caressed by ocean's blue, I can see our dear Rita as a part of me and all of you. And like the stars that warm the darkest night, she will always fill our world with her love, her chutzpah, and her delight. This is the beginning, not the end, of blessings upon blessings, blessings of